No, they call it Super Duper for Tuesday for a reason, right, Dana? We added the duper, by the way, just for today. You got 1/3 of delegates all out there tomorrow on the line, and going to be some late ones. 11 o'clock in the evening, East Coast time. California closes. Winner take all in California, and a ton of delegates out there. Also look at Texas at 161. Some closing early in the night. Tennessee, 58. North Carolina, 74. So you see how much is on the line right now in this contest between Trump and Nikki Haley. Let me try and go into some of the things we were seeing from over the weekend. And this one here is quite telling. This is what Aisha's talking about, right? So as we begin the night tomorrow, okay, with 3 contests over on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, Trump's got an easy lead at 244 to Nikki Haley's 43. And then we're going to have a real long conversation about this general election campaign between Trump and Biden, frankly. And if you look at some of the polling on Saturday from the New York Times and some of our polling on Sunday from Fox News, Biden's policies versus Trump policies and your family. Biden's policies, we found, did they help you? 25%. Only 25%. Been in office 3 years now. Trump is at 45%. Did Biden's policies hurt your family? A whopping 48% say yes. These are really difficult headwinds to go into a general election 8 months away. So Karl Rove joins our conversation right now. And I know, as I said earlier, Karl, you were slicing and dicing those numbers over the weekend. What did you take? Can you name one key number that you thought was the most telling about the potential general election rematch between Trump and Biden?
The fact that 2/3 of the American people think Joe Biden is too old and doesn't have the mental acuity to be effective in a second term. That would elections come down to not I agree with somebody 100% of the time and I disagree with the other person 100% of the time. They come down to, in essence, who do I agree with more and who do I think has what it takes to do the job? Who's going to be a strong and effective leader? And on that dimension, President Trump leads President Biden by a significant margin. And as a result, people may say, you know what, I disagree with some of what he says, and I disagree with some of how he acts, and I disagree with some of his policies. But on whole, I'd rather have a strong leader than a not strong leader.
And the other poll that caught my attention is this one from the New York Times on right track, wrong track. So wrong track was 65%. So if you look at that poll and then add it to Biden's job approval, only at 36%. That's low for that poll, the New York Times poll. And then Biden favorability at 38%. What's interesting, Karl, to me, is that if you think just back 6 months ago, the Washington Post ABC poll had Trump ahead by a significant margin. And if you remember, even the people at ABC Washington Post were saying this has to be an outlier. They just disavowed their own poll. It turned out that actually was the canary in the coal mine. And the Biden people have their heads in the sand if they think it's not really bad for them right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, we have our poll, we have New York Times, we have the AP and National Opinion Research poll, all of them saying the same thing, and on top of lots of other polls. And remember, in 2016, the Real Clear Politics average just before Election Day had Donald Trump down by 2%, and he lost the popular vote and won the election. Because remember, there are more Democrats in California and New York you know, if that don't amount for much. You've already won those 2 states, and running up the numbers in either one of them doesn't help you. It helps you nationwide, but it doesn't help you in the Electoral College. And that's why winning Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania were so critical to Donald Trump's victory in 2020. He won them by a narrow margin, 88,000 votes total, but they nonetheless gave him the White House, even though he lost the popular vote. So for him to be ahead today by 2 points, think about that. That's a 4-point swing from when he won in 2014, or excuse me, 2016. So that suggests that the Biden White House has a really uphill climb.
Yeah, there was one line in the Times piece that really struck me, and Dana and I were texting about it on Saturday morning. Actually, I'm going to read it.
That's what we do.
Right. Like it or not.
It's a sad way to spend your weekend, the two of you.
Well, we didn't spend too much time on it, but we share the opinion here. Mr. Biden is winning only 83% of his voters from 2020, with 10% saying they now back Mr. Trump. Yeah. If that's anywhere close to being right in November, this thing's over.
Yeah. Now, one thing that the cautionary note for Trump world out of that, and a lot of those are black and brown and young voters who are overwhelmingly Democrat and are disappointed in President Biden. Now, the Biden campaign knows this, and so they're going to try and do the one thing they think will solve it for them, which is to demonize President Trump with those voters. We'll see if that works. But you're right. He's got a weakness. When you only are carrying basically 8 out of 10 people who voted for you last time, that's a real problem when you're an incumbent.
Indeed. Karl, thanks for kicking us off on this Monday.
Nice to see you, sir.
Have a good week. Sure we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, we shall.
Because what's up tomorrow night?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
That is Super Tuesday. Our live coverage begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to go deep into the night. We'll have it all for you as it unfolds in real time. Together.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.